Alrighty, we are back. Ryan, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm great, my brother. How are you?
Doing very well. I don't know why this goddamn YouTube title will not update when it's
Every time.
clearly updated in my app. But anyway, welcome back to the Wager Wise MMA podcast, brought to you by your two hosts, Ian Parker and Clint. What? I don't even know his last name.
I have no idea.
We are your two betting experts, bringing you another week of MMA action. This week we have UFC Fight Night, Garcia versus Onama back in the UFC APEX. I'm seeing a hell of a lot of shit getting talked about this card, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I get the names. Yeah, I think it's a good card, man. Like, I get the names are, not big. But look, we had big names last week, and the card was fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
at the end of the day, name value really doesn't count for much these days, for the most part. And these fights all look pretty action-packed to me. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, there's been way worse cards than this.
Yeah, 100%. I get the name value, but yeah, I watched. I got up last week. I was off. I was a bit of jet lag. I'd been in Thailand for the week, which is why we missed the last week's stream. But yeah, I watched last week's, and I was just so disappointed with that whole card. Honestly, I was like,
yeah.
There were so many fights that I was pretty excited for that just let me down. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, like from a betting standpoint, I did as well as you could. I know a lot of guys lost a lot of money in that card, but had a lot of close calls. I played Hamdi by KO round 2 and round 3, which was painful viewing. Like, it was already a painful fight to watch, but like seeing him just be so close to getting that TKO and just not committing was just painful. Got Nathaniel Wood, got Volta Walker round 1 sub.
Yep.
I was scared of in the distance. Like, that was just horrid viewing. Took Hakparas and Rakic, and they got handled. Volkov, I don't think I deserve to win that bet, but I'm glad that he won. Like, you can't just take someone down, just not throw a strike, right? Yeah. Other than that, finished the night with just +2 units, so I'm completely happy with that. Looking very much forward to this card.
Yeah, I had a couple of bad ones as well, like under 2.5. Rombetsky versus Klein.
Oh,
went pretty large on that, and just the typical unders experience there, really. Same with the Jose Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. I took the under 2.5 there as well, and again, just fucking brutal viewing. Hit a nice one in Fight Will Not Go the Distance in the Nazrat and the Salkilled fight, which was honestly tough viewing, really tough viewing, to be honest. Like, there's such a thin line with knockouts to where they're like exciting and interesting to where like they're just really hard to watch. And that one I found really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Just being unconscious for 5 minutes is just fucking brutal viewing. But I suppose that's the game we're in. Other than that, I had a nibble on Alaskarov to win round 1 and Iron Turtle to win late. And other than that, yeah, definitely was one of my worst weeks in a while. But yeah, I'm also pretty keen for this one. So what do you say we get into it?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, bottom to top, as always. Let me just refresh my odds to make sure everything is all good. All right, first fight, we are kicking off with women's strawweight Talita Alencar 6-1-1 taking on Ariane Carnelosi 15-3-0. Prices we have Talita Alencar -230. The comeback on Ariane Carnelosi +195. I'll kick this one off. I came in here thinking that I wanted to be like on Carnelosi, and I kind of still think I do want to be on her side of the number. Like, Alencar at -230, I feel like that's just a really thin win condition at a big number. And I think Carnelosi, like, she's not good anywhere, but like, she's massive. She's really built. She's physical. I think she's got more mental strength, and I think she's got more cardio too. But I will admit, last fight she did look pretty bad. I think she's stiff on the feet, but she's obviously durable. She's got bad balance and hips in terms of takedown defense, which I think is an issue here. But I almost think her physical strength can like just do enough like after 7.5 minutes. I guess my main issue is I worry about her output. to really win and like assert dominance late in the fight. I think Telly Allan card will look all right for the first 5 minutes, but she falls off a cliff after that. So to get to minus 230, you have to think she finishes her round one. And I'm not convinced that Carnelosi, will get submitted in round one. So it's dog or pass for me. I want to be on the Carnelosi side of the number. I'm just not sure that I'm seeing enough to get there on this one. So it's probably going to be a pass.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same boat. I went into this wanting to be in the Carnelosi side because like Allan Carr, all she has is grappling. Reminds me of Amarim from last week, where if she doesn't get a grappling going, it doesn't go to plan. But the thing is with Carnelosi in this one, she does get taken down, and she can give up a lot of control time. So yeah, no interest in this fight, man. Yeah, I see why Carnelosi is tempting, but it probably a value loser at best. Like probably comes on hard at like the last round.
Yeah, I almost feel like if I'm going to play it, it's I may as well just wait. I may as well just wait post round one, because if Allan Carr wins, it's probably submission round one. You would think like that's her most upside.
Yeah.
So maybe you get like a plus 250 in the corner somehow round two, and you take that. I'd probably rather that than just play a pre. She gets submitted early and we lose. So, yeah, we're on the same page in that one.
Mm.
Alrighty, up the card to welterweight. We have Phil Rowe rocking some sort of crazy bush trim on that head. I don't know what that is. 11-5, taking on Sekyun Ko, 12-2. Obviously, Ko coming off that nice win against Oban Elliott at big dog odds. Prices, we have Sekyun Ko minus 190. The comeback on Phil Rowe plus 165. Ryan, who wins this one, my friend?
Look, going into this, two things I tried to avoid going into tape here, putting too much stock into Ko's victory against Oban Elliott, which was a great win and dominant display, but he's going from a plus 360 dog to now a minus 200 favorite against a more established fighter is pretty significant. But I also didn't want to let my past opinions on Phil Rowe have too much influence either. Like he is an established guy, but prior to his last fight, I just thought he was a fighter who had all the skills and advantageous attributes, but just had no dog in him and can fall apart in grueling fights. And I think a round 3 come from behind win against Angeluso definitely deserves props. Like he knew he needed a finish. He was knocked down early. He was 2 rounds down against a decision merchant, and he went and got it. But why was he down on the cards once again? The grappling. The same problem he's had all his career of being out physicaled and held down was the same reason he had to go get that knockout in the 3rd round. So once again, taken down that last round, but Lusa couldn't maintain top control. He gassed out, and then Rowe went to work. And Lusa in the past has dropped off heavily in round 3s too, like even nearly got KO'd by Reece McKee. So Rowe was able to take advantage of that. Do I think Sekyun Ko can take Rowe down? Absolutely. Can he hold him down once he gets there? Absolutely. And can he do it for 15 minutes? I think so. Like he has a background in Sambo, and we did see how dominant he was on top control against Elliott. He was just so positionally aware there, and he's not the type to take risks looking for subs and getting reversed. He doesn't have any subs on his record. Like he just establishes his position, stays there, and pours on damage and racks up control time. On the feet, he can hold his own too. Like before he took Oban Elliott down, he was having his way on the feet and then just realized that the easiest way to win that fight was just to keep on taking him down and holding him there. He does have an upright southpaw stance. He bounces in and out and has very sharp timing with his rear hand. He will be at a height and reach disadvantage, but so was Jake Matthews against Phil Rowe. And I can see Ko fighting a similar fight to how Jake Matthews did. I see him on the front foot as Rowe's letting him lead the dance. Rowe may look sharp early with counters and straight shots, but I think the forward pressure will mount up and Ko will start hitting the mark with his combos more and more. And then once he finds a spot to change levels or clinch, I just see Rowe being held down. If he's taken down, I don't believe Ko gives him an opportunity to sweep and reverse. And I think Phil Rowe's happy to just play jiu-jitsu off his back. And even against the fence, Rowe has shown to be just very passive there too. Like he was held there by Neil Magny, and Ko is pretty strong. So yeah, I think Ko at minus 200 is fine at this number. Possibly parlayable, but yeah, haven't played him yet on anything. Might look at a decision line, but I think Ko wins.
Yeah, that's where I got to as well. Look, I think Phil Rowe like maybe has a chance to knock him out on the feet. I think it's a slim chance, but I do think Ko's weak point. I mean, he's been finished before. Like, he got finished by Palatnikov, which, in my opinion, is an awful look. So I do have a little bit of question on Ko's overall chin. And Rowe's a long guy who, could be a tricky, some sort of tricky matchup on the feet. But other than that, I think it's all Ko. Like, his takedown game is super impressive to me. He's got double legs, he's got single legs, he's got judo throws, he's got heaps of trips, plenty of ways to get this fight to the ground. And I think once he does, his ability to maintain top position is just going to win minutes here. And I really don't see Rowe threatening much off his back. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Sekun Ko by decision looks like a decent play. Things like plus 170. I want to lean that he doesn't finish Rowe. Rowe's pretty tough, and unless it's a submission. But I don't think Ko's shown that really want to find a submission on the ground. So yeah, I'm with you. I lean Sekun Ko pretty heavily, and I think he probably goes to decision. But you never know. Like, what's Rowe by KO? If it's like a massive number, yeah, it's only plus 400. It's definitely not big enough at all to get involved there. But yeah, I'm with you. Ko by decision. Let me just get to a couple of these comments. We read these out when we finish breaking them down. So we will get to them. UFC Garrison, line opens Allan minus 500 and got into smash. Tapology percentage is Carnelosi 66%. DraftKings splits at 50-50. This is a public dog. It makes sense. I'm not surprised. Like, it seems like one of the easiest dogs to get to on this card, to be honest with you. Fade Phil Rowe. Yep, fair enough.
Yep, like it.
He's losing the first round at a high rate. He isn't hitting another Hail Mary here. Ko is going to be able to grapple Phil, much like Ange did. Yeah, all on the same page there. All on the same page there. All right, up the card, we have women's strawweight, Alice Ardeline, 10-7. What a record. Taking on Montserrat Conejo Ruiz, 10-4. Seems like her record probably should be more similar to Alice Ardeline's. Prices, we have an Alice Ardeline minus 400 and a Montserrat Ruiz plus 300. I'll kick this one off. Alice kind of fights to me like she has this. She's got like crackhead energy for me. Like she fights like an evolved local junkie from the street that Like she does her best when she's just using her size and physicality in terms of WMMA to push forward and just be in your face annoying you. I think if you have footwork and like ability to sort of counterpunch, you definitely will be competitive. I'm just not really sure Ruiz has that. Like she also doesn't have grappling to fall back onto. I do think Ruiz, maybe has some potential to be able to crack it. And Ardeline does really have zero head movement or striking defense, but she's shown that she's durable, can take shots. And I don't think Ruiz is necessarily that powerful to just put her down. I think Alice is really just not going to respect her. I think she's going to get in her face. I think she's going to wear on her. I think she could potentially mix in like an ugly takedown off pure physicality. We saw her shit whip the last opponent, just literally throw her to the ground. I think it was Rayani.
Yeah.
Literally just toss her to the ground at one point. There was no technique at all. It was honestly just physicality. And I think she probably could do that again. She's going to have a big size advantage. And I think if she gets on top and gets top time, Ruiz has shown that she can be broken off her back. I'm interested in violence here. I think it covers both sides. I think it takes the big minus number of Alice away. I really like Alice TKO a lot too at plus 675. Huge number. I think she potentially could wear her down and break her late. So I think I'm going to be on some sort of violence in this fight, whether it's under 2.5, Alice Ardeline plus TKO plus 670. They're all numbers I'm looking at and I think have a lot of value.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same boat. I think violence is the play. I already played Ardeline round 2 at plus 750 and Ardeline round 3 at plus 900. Just did it for quarter unit each. Yeah, I just think Ardeline is like she's such a dog. Like I took her against Shauna Bannon at plus 160. I'm pretty sure we both did.
Yeah.
Should have won that split decision. Chose to pass when she fought Rayan dos Santos, and I regret not taking her at plus 180. Wouldn't play her straight money line at minus 400 because this is not a minus 400 girl, but
Yeah.
Montserrat Ruiz is fucking terrible. Literally a one-trick pony. Like, she just goes for that head and arm throw and just tries to like win by like holding that scarf hold and just like riding out that position. But I think Adeline can get a finish here. And if anything, I lean for it to be late into the fight. Like, I think Ruiz has lost the last 3 fights by finish, I believe. So she very much can get finished again. Adeline, she is very aggressive and she comes forward with like no fear, very tenacious. So I think she could probably get maybe a TKO or something. So yeah, I like your suggestion of TKO, and I do like the round 2 and round 3 props.
Very nice. Ruiz is a national Mexican champ Olympic wrestler. Alice strikes far too sloppy. No business being a minus 400 fade. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with the number. I wouldn't play Ardeline moneyline. No way. I'm also a national Rwandan Olympic swim champ. So, who gives a fuck? What is Alice best at? Winning optics. I don't think she's really good at anything, but I think she's massive and I think she's physical and I think she's just going to get in the face and do, like, I think she's just going to throw more than Ruiz. And I think there's potential that she wins top time. And Ruiz off her back has looked really, really bad. So this is our 2 cents.
Yeah.
Alrighty, up the card. More women's fight. I think this might be the last one on the card.
It is.
Women's bantamweight. Ketlin Vieira 15-4, taking on Big Norm, the dump. Norma Dumont 12-2. Prices, we have a Big Norm Dumont minus 163 to minus 170 ish, somewhere in that range. Ketlin Vieira plus 145 the comeback. Ryan, who wins this one?
I got Norma Dumont here all day. I got her at minus 145. Look, despite her lack of finishing ability, I've been very impressed in her UFC run. She's getting better with every fight, and she's coming in here with a ton of momentum, 5-fight win streak. And her last win was a domination on the feet over a former title challenger in Ariane Aldana. A matchup where you thought she would have gone to her grappling, like she did against Jermaine Durandamy, but she outstruck her 159-49 in significant strikes, all while being on the back foot, which is very impressive to me. Dumont, she just looks to constantly move around the cage, works off a snappy jab from distance, chip away with leg kicks and counters, and then will just play on her feet and commit with something big over the top and then get out of the way and back on her bike. And if she's successful, she will be happy to stick to her boxing. But if her opponent gets any momentum or starts to have moments in succession, like, she's quick to kill that momentum with an opportunistic takedown and clinches, just like she did with Jermaine Durandamy. Durandamy started pouring it on in the second round, just got taken down and rode out the rest of that round. Ketlin Vieira, she's a girl I've never quite rated. Her recent wins are barely impressive, like Macy Kiason, who is a negative IQ fighter, and she got big-sisted. Pani Kianzad relied on grappling to beat her. Barely scraped by Holly Holm by split decision, who outstruck her officially on significant strikes, and barely scraped by Misha Tate, who outstruck her in numbers on the significant strike numbers as well. She does have power, Vieira, and if she can impose her size and physicality on girls, then she wins the fight. But if she can't, that's already 75% of the battle won. Like, she's very slow in her striking, low volume at times, predictable with her Muay Thai attacks. She's there to be countered, and she absorbs more punches than she lands. And I think Vieira will be walking forward, eating stiff jabs, leg kicks, and combos from Dumont in the back foot. She might land here and there as Dumont tends to lean back, and like she can get caught, but for the most part, she's defensively pretty responsible with her footwork, and she is quick to get one back if she gets hit. Dumont will then time moments to plant her feet and swing big combos, which I just see Vieira walking straight into. Like, she mindlessly pressures and is just there to be timed coming in, and Vieira will be too slow to catch her with counters as she's exiting range as well. So even if Vieira touches her a bit, like I said, Norma is good at shutting down momentum, like Aldana in round 2 and Durandamy in round 2 as well. And if she looks to grab a hold of Dumont, it'll just be wasted effort. Dumont is strong in that clinch. She's very hard to take down. And if Dumont ends up on top using her throws or catching a kick and dragging her to the mat, she has the ability to just ride out the round. No problem. So, yeah, I have a pretty large play on her, 2.25 units at minus 145 on Norma Dumont moneyline.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I agree for the most part. I don't have a play on this fight. I don't think I will. I think it's a relatively close fight. I'm still kind of like just underwhelmed by both of these girls, to be honest. But like, I'm not. I'm still not massively sold on Norm. Like, uh, yeah, I don't know. I really just I don't have a massive opinion of her, but like to be fair, I don't really have a massive opinion of many women at women's bantamweight. So like, it's not a. I guess it's not the worst thing to take away. I think it's a close fight. Like I agree with you. I think Norm's probably just going to do more and sort of like just have the winning minutes. I think, but I think Vieira's a dog, man. She's got a bit of dog in her, and I think it's going to be a close fight as far as it goes. So I'm not really interested in getting involved too much at the number. I think Big Norm probably wins and wins by decision, but I've seen enough of these robbery split decision women's losses that I'm not really interested in getting involved on either side. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Big Norm probably wins the decision here. What is this fight doing on the prelim? Yeah, I mean it's it's the highest ranked fight on the card, I would think, right?
Yeah.
And it's very deep on the prelims. It's kind of funny. All right, up to middleweight. We have the UFC debut of Donte Johnson taking on the Hood Rat Sedriques. I don't know if that's his nickname. I'm going to call him that. Sedriques Dumas 10-3. Prices, we have a Donte Johnson minus 350, a Sedriques Dumas plus 285. That is crazy for a UFC debut of a guy we've seen absolutely fuck all for. I look. I like the finishing instinct from Donte Johnson when he hurt his opponent on Contender Series. That was honestly my biggest takeaway for him in that fight. Like I didn't really learn too much about his game other than he's got pretty awkward striking and good intent. He's kind of explosive and athletic, decent speed. I don't know. I didn't see enough to really get overly interested in him, to be quite honest. And that's been the story of his career. And his career is only young, so that's not the worst thing. But I think Dumas just kind of like below average everywhere. But he is kind of hard to finish with pure striking for some reason. Like he's not particularly intelligent defensively, but he does have this weird style that works for him. I know in his I think it was either his last fight or the one against Ruzi Boyev, he was doing that, that duck where he ducks his head when someone comes in and enters range on him. Commentators couldn't shut the fuck up about it, but it does work for him. Like he's pretty hard to hit big. I do worry that Johnson could potentially like overexert himself on debut, and Dumas does have that style to kind of lose big moments and just hang in there enough to potentially have success late. My issue is I think that he's going to let Johnson go first because he's pretty content to take the back foot, which is where Johnson is way more dangerous. So I still think Johnson will have bigger moments, but it does feel a really big price to get to on debut, to be honest with you. You're getting plus 285 in Dumas. Look, you get all the outside shit, getting arrested, all that sort of stuff outside the octagon. Maybe it's a decent dog play, but I kind of think Johnson goes first, has big moments, potentially hurts him and gets him out of there. But again, maybe not a bad live entry position. If Johnson's looking gassed at the end of round one, you might get a big number on Dumas losing that round, coming into round two, maybe. But it kind of smells like value loser to me.
Yeah. What's interesting in this one's like that Contender Series fight, he was at heavyweight, fought heavyweight and light heavyweight his career. And now he's just going down to middleweight just randomly. But it is the right division for him, especially with a guy with his, he's not that tall, and I reckon he'll be more suited down at middleweight. And they gave him a good opponent to just showcase against Sedriques Dumas, who like he sucks and he's just openly afraid to get hit. I think I just saw in the comments that Dumas has bad reactions, and you pointed out that as well. We saw in his fight against Mikhail Olisejczak, he flinches. Like he looks down, covers up, and gives the biggest reactions whenever a punch would come his way. And I did have a bet on Jackson McVeigh and Zachary Reese to beat Dumas by sub, just because of that tendency to look down when he'd get pressured. Those are guys that can just grab a hold of the guillotine and just go for that choke as Dumas is looking down. And here, I just think he's probably going to get knocked out. And a favorite to be done in the first round. Like Johnson, he will eventually get found out in this division. in extended fights, as you actually need some skill, like in the middleweight division. It might be as soon as the next fight as well, but I just think Dumas will be like another stepping stone for him until then. Yeah, I think if you were to play Donte Johnson, just a straight up round one knockout. But yeah, minus 300 for him, I don't really think so. Especially on debut and how green he is, like just in his overall like experience. So yeah, I don't mind a live entry into Dumas as well if the first round ends. So yeah.
Yeah, this is an ugly fight to get involved with pre-fight for mine. Like Johnson wins TKOs minus 225 straight up. Johnson wins round one is not even plus money. It's like minus 110. Under 1.5 is minus 210. Just massive numbers. Nothing I'm really interested in getting involved in. Dumas has bad reactions to getting hit, and that's what Donte is there to do. Very green fighter who will lose soon, just not now.
Yeah, that's
pretty much exactly what Ryan just said as well. They're slow rolling Donte, fight at the Apex again against the guy who was there for a check. Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, maybe he's going to be a fun fight for middleweight. Middleweight's a low division, so maybe he has some success of pure, athleticism and speed. But yeah, I guess we'll find out pretty soon. All right, up the card to Bantamweight, we have Timmy Cuamba 9-3 taking on Chang Ho Lee 11-1. This one pretty close. We got Timmy Cuamba slight favorite at minus 120. It looks like Chang Ho Lee is probably in that minus 105 to plus 105 range somewhere there. So slight underdog, very very close. Ryan, who wins this one?
Look, this is going to be a clash of styles. Cuamba, definitely the more technical guy he has lightning fast hands, very sharp, especially with his 1-2s and combos in the pocket. And he just likes to keep it clean, pick you apart with precise shots and then get back to range. Chang Ho Lee, he's the exact opposite of that, just wants to impose himself on his opponents, march forward, swing wild, eat a few shots along the way and bring the fight to the ground where he does have very dominant grappling. Has 7 finishes, all come by way of his grappling. 6 of his finishes were through ground and pound. And he's coming off a round 2 TKO of Cortavius Romeus, where he just out-physicaled him and mauled him. Though took some damage along the way as well, got taken down as well. And he was just way too reckless for my liking at times. But Romeus, he couldn't do anything with the top control he did have. He didn't land anything too significant to hurt him on the feet. And eventually just found himself in a position he couldn't get out of. Like that forced a stoppage. Timmy Cuamba, he will be coming down to bantamweight, which I think is a good move. Like he did lack a bit of physicality and size up at featherweight, which did show when he did fight Balaji at lightweight on short notice, and it really showed against Lucas Almeida. And down at bantamweight, I think he will still retain his speed and power, and while being advantageous in his size as well. And for as long as these guys are striking, Cuamba has the clear upside, and we've seen him have success landing clean, like pretty nice shots on pressure strikers like Roberto Romero, who he knocked out with a nice knee, and even on Lucas Almeida, who he lost to. He also got knocked down against Almeida and fought through that, but he had his moments throughout that fight, especially in the third round. Cuamba can be a little low volume and overly patient at times, and a bit too happy to work on the back foot, which does worry me because Chang Ho Lee only knows to come forward and he has a lot of output, but Cuamba has dealt with pressure fighters before. And Lee hasn't fought anyone with this caliber of striking. Like, in fact, Lee's competition in general hasn't been all that good. I don't take any stock from road to the UFC opponents, and the guys he has faced in the UFC are on the lower end in terms of skill set. I'll give it to him, but his grappling is high level. Like I've even heard people call him Korean Khabib, but until he gets to that's an actual thing. People call him Korean Khabib. But until he gets to the position he wants to be in, his process is too reckless, and no one has made him pay for it yet. When he crashes into the pocket, swinging, he's wide open for straight counters coming in. Once he's in boxing rage, throwing his loopy shots, his head stays in the center and his hands don't come back to his face. And he's still right there to be hit at the end of exchanges, like flat-footed and out of position. As for the grappling, obviously Lee has all the upside if he can get on top or take the back, but I don't think it will come that easy. Like Cuamba has solid grappling of his own. He took down Almeida twice, took down Balaji once. He defended 5 of 6 takedown attempts from Oki, who was a physical specimen. And I do trust his takedown defense here along the stretch. Like his fights against Romero and Mateo Vogel, and I think that Mateo Vogel fight is going to be quite similar to how this one will go. Like he showed strong hips. He was very balanced against the cage, explosive in his movement when he would scramble. And once separated, he's just shown to get back to his technical striking pretty seamlessly. And now down at bantamweight, like where he is bigger and stronger, I think I can trust in him even more. And early in the fight, I do expect it to be close and high pace, maybe with Lee taking round one while they're fresh and probably getting enough control time. But I think Lee's intensity and output will drop in round two. Like he'll get sloppier and sloppier along the stretch with his takedown attempts. And if Cuamba neutralizes Lee's grappling and is forced to strike, Cuamba's too sharp and technically sound. Like Lee has shit defense. And I don't think he'll have as much success with his hands at all because Cuamba's distance management and movement around the cage is really good, and his counters are really well timed. So yeah, I see Cuamba pulling away in this fight with bigger moments, better optics, and inflicting more damage. And I might go out on a limb and predict a round 2 TKO for Cuamba, probably landing a left hook as they both exchange and finishing off as he's covering up. So I got Cuamba at plus 100, played that for 1.5 units.
Very nice. Love that breakdown. This has a few elements of an unders match for mine. One that I usually like to get involved in and normally get beaten in a fucking brutal way. But there's a few things that I like here. It's obviously Cuamba's moving down in weight, so obviously there's a question mark for me there. I think it'll probably be good for him, but you just never know with these weight cuts. Like it could affect his chin slightly. You just never know. That's one thing that I like. Cuamba has a huge striking advantage here and will have a big power advantage. Chang Lee also has a big submission grappling advantage. So 3 things automatically that I like, that I see, that leads me to think violence. As you said, like the numbers are close and rightly so, because both guys have pretty clear paths to victory potentially. I think Cuamba's is probably feels more reliable at this point to be able to stuff takedowns, keep the fight standing, land big shots. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chang Lee came out here and submitted him. So they're giving me plus 175 for under 2.5 rounds on a fight that feels volatile, has a few things in the mixture that I like in terms of violence plays. So that's what I'll be on. I'm going to stay off a side and just play under 2.5. You get a big number. If it misses, it misses. If it misses, it'll probably miss in a brutal fashion. That is generally the way of the unders betting, but builds character. It builds a lot of character.
That's right.
Okay, got a few here. I think Cuamba is coming down a weight class here. You'd think that helps him stuff the takedowns. You would definitely think that. Cuamba made Romero pay for his ducking habit with a jumping knee. Cuamba follows game plans real well. Yeah, maybe they should just remake Cuamba against Sedriques Dumas and just get it done. just get it done. Dude was known as being timid Timmy. He's going to be one bigger now, 2 off a finish. Timmy Cuamba unlocked a new character. Could be.
I think so.
I like watching him. I think he's fun. Like he's pretty technical on the feet. He has a decently fun fighting style. He's not like particularly physically gifted, I don't think. So coming down a weight class feels pretty good. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I always thought that like he just was too small at featherweight.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I picked Lucas Almeida to win by knockout, which he won by decision, which was just painful viewing.
Yeah, it was the same against Balaji. Like he competed really well and he like landed some big shots, but he just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably going to be a good thing. All right, up the card we have. I think this is another UFC debut for Christian.
Yeah, Kevin Christian. This guy's terrible.
Yeah. It's Contender Series special here. Okay, Billy Elekana. This is light heavyweight prelim headliner. Billy Elekana 8-2 taking on Kevin Christian 9-2. Prices we have. Billy Elekana seems like everyone's favorite. This seems like the public favorite this week. So Billy Elekana minus 260. The comeback Kevin Christian plus 220. I don't have much to give you on this one, to be honest. I think Kevin Christian fucking sucks. I think Billy Elekana fucking sucks. Maybe Billy Elekana sucks less. But I don't know. I'm not running to play Billy Elekana at minus 260, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that good to be that favorite. Yes, Kevin Christian fucking sucks. Pretty bad, to be honest with you. And like, I actually had a bet on his opponent, Francesco, on Contender Series last year, and he just gassed out within like 4 minutes. Looked terrible. Kevin Christian just loves to play jiu-jitsu off his back. Like, but would you be surprised if Elekana took him down and he got submitted? Because I
No.
honestly wouldn't be surprised. And at minus 260, you have to think he comes out here and just bashes Kevin Christian, which he could. But Kevin Christian's going to have like a huge size advantage, huge reach advantage. Yes, he's not that good of a striker, but you're talking plus 260 versus minus 260. Not much interest for me here on Elekana. Yes, he's probably better all round and probably should win, but I'm not running to the fucking window at minus 260. It's dog or pass for me. I'm probably just happy to pass.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. Yeah, just watching everyone's been on Elekana this week, and I really wanted to go into Kevin Christian tape and just think, yeah, he has a way to win this fight, and he does, and that's just through pulling guard and like playing jiu-jitsu from his back. I think Elekana just wins. Like you're betting shit with shit, but
exactly.
I think Elekana gets it done. He has good enough kickboxing, good enough grappling ability, well trained, is athletic. I did like that valiant showing against Bogdan Guskov in that first round. And against Ivo Aslan, for as shit as that fight was, I think that just showed that he was like very honed in. He could have easily fell into like that trap of just bull rushing him, trying to make something happen, but he just that was a fight where both of them didn't do much, but he just did a little bit more. And yeah, Kevin Christian hasn't shown me anything in his career that's just like he has good attributes. Like he is very tall. He's probably carrying a lot of power, but you watch this guy strike and he's just terrible. So yeah, pass.
Also coming off a bit of time off, you never know. And like the only reason people are playing Elekana is like because they think Christian sucks. It's not like he has a particularly open path to victory or like a guarantee here anywhere. Yeah, he's okay, but like Kevin Christian's okay in some places too. So I wouldn't rush to play Elekana here in this spot, to be quite honest with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if he lets everyone down as the public favorite of the week. I honestly wouldn't. All right, let's check a few. And also, like, let's not forget, this guy fucking quit 2 fights ago. Pure quit. Yes, he was on short notice and whatnot, but like, maybe he's got a bit of that in him. You never know. What if Kevin Christian somehow takes the back and puts not even a rear naked, but like just a jaw crusher on? He might tap. You never know. You really never know. Kevin Christian sucks is the narrative. We haven't seen the dude in a year. Guy has freak length and a ground game. For sure. Yeah, I completely agree. Elekana doesn't throw volume, can't play on the mat because he'll gas. Good attributes and a question mark. Give me all the upside and plus money. Yeah, I don't hate anyone who takes a shot here. I think it's very clearly dog or pass. I'm probably just happy just to pass.
Yeah, same here. Just completely passing on this.
Yeah. Okay, up the card to one. This is one that we don't talk about fights before, but we did briefly talk about this one in some messages. What are they fighting at?
I think like catch weight. I heard a catch weight or something like 130 or something.
Let me see if I can find it. It says flyweight 125, but it says catch weight here. I think on short notice, I'd be surprised if it wasn't like a 130-ish fight somewhere around there. Allan Nascimento 21-6 taking on Cody Durden 17-8-1. Nascimento obviously was meant to fight Estevam. That got cancelled. I think Durden in here on, again, 10 days notice, something like that. Prices, we have a Nascimento minus 260, a Cody Durden plus 220. I think I know where you're going to go with this one, but lead us off anyway, my friend.
Oh, yeah. I was going to take Nascimento to beat Rafael Estevam. I've been trying to fade Rafael Estevam for ages. I do not like that guy. Misses weight and he like gasses out in the third round. This change of opponent, like Cody Durden on short notice, being 1-4 in his last 5. I don't have the confidence in Durden that I used to. Like he is a dog in there, and he certainly doesn't give up on himself. Like I like that he's gritty, swings hard as he comes forward, like has a very aggressive grappling game and has solid sprawling ability, and he'll just keep on coming at you if he doesn't get put out. But that's the thing. Like he's getting put out more often than not in recent days. Even when he has success in fights, he's always having defensive lapses that just end up with him being unconscious. Like, to be fair, like his last 4 losses have been Jose Ochoa, Joshua Van, Bruno Silva, and Tagir Bekov. And he managed to go the distance with Joshua Van. I'll give him that. But we just haven't seen him bite down on the mouthpiece, throw himself in a firefight, and have sustained success in a while. Like he is kind of brittle nowadays. And I don't see that happening here because I just don't think Nascimento will give him the chance. Like Nascimento on the feet has all the typical traits of a chute box fighter, like moves around, throws teeps up the middle, attempts flying knees when he can, and lands hard body kicks, followed with like quick combos. I don't think he's as dangerous as the Ochoa on the feet, but at this point, I can still see him dropping or hurting Durden if he lands clean. But if he gets this fight to the ground, which I think he will, it might take a few takedown attempts and some cage pushing, as Durden historically has pretty good takedown defense. But Nascimento is a much better wrestler than a lot of the shooter box guys, and Durden does put himself in danger in grappling exchanges. Like he has been subbed 4 times in his career, and I do think Nascimento will be able to hold Durden down if he gets him there. I also think Durden can take Nascimento down and end up getting reversed or sweeped. And I think that's what happened with the Tigir Bekov fight. Like Durden took him down and found himself in a position. But yeah, of course, Durden is live to bonk him with an overhand right at times. But I trust in Nascimento enough. He's never been finished in his career, never been knocked down. And the last guy Durden finished was Matt Schnell. Like last guy Durden KO'd like clean was JP Bays. So yeah, I just think Durden's time is up. And yeah, I think Nascimento by sub. If you're going to play Nascimento, I think just playing him by straight sub would be the play.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Like we said, we talked about this one off stream. Just to, I mean, we're both looking for this price on our Australian books. Couldn't find one anywhere. No. Couldn't find a price anywhere. Still haven't found a price yet. The line still hasn't dropped as far as I'm aware. So fucking hell, it is hard to get some lines over here. But yeah, I fully agree with you. I think I actually think the catch weight honestly suits Nascimento more. He's fucking massive and also always has issues with weight.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has to cut less weight, he's probably cheering. Great result for him. He's had a full camp and now he gets Durden in on 10 days notice, who Durden's been slowing down as of recent anyway in fights, and now he takes this on short notice. He does feel like one of those guys that kind of it would always be in camp training, but it doesn't really show in his cardio levels because he does gas out pretty consistently. I agree with you, though, that I think Durden, I just think this ends up on the ground, whether it's Nascimento, looking to force that or potentially taking advantage of Durden trying to enter in and wrestle on him. I just think this goes to the ground at some point. And I think Nascimento, his size, his physical strength, and his technical ability will, as you said, lead him to counter or to sweep or to something like that and to take advantageous position. Look, Durden's been in a lot of deep subs in his career. As you said, 4 subs on his record, but like he's also in like a brutal deep armbar against Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley had him in like 2 deep armbars. Yeah, he's a fucking gritty guy. Like most people would have tapped to those. He is super gritty and he is pretty hard to submit initially, but I think he can be broken down. And I think Nascimento is going to have a few opportunities to get that. And again, as I said, physical strength, technical ability on the ground, I think he will probably submit him also. So yeah, I'm with you. Nascimento sub feels like the play. Under 2.5 is -110. Probably won't get to that. Just not juicy enough of a price. But yeah, as soon as I see a Nascimento sub prop, as long as it's plus money, hopefully it's like plus 200. That'd be a lovely number. I'd take that.
Yep.
All right, up the card 2. Welterweight. Great fight. Fucking great fight. Charles Radtke, Chuck Buffalo, 10-5, taking on Daniel Frunza, 9-3. Frunza coming off that absolute, say, war or beatdown against Reese McKee. Crazy round. 5 minutes and more action than most people will see in 15 minutes. That was a psycho fight. Prices, we have Radtke's probably moderate favorite, I'd say, -160. The comeback on Frunza, +140. Let me just grab my notes on this one. Okay, so the story of the fight kind of comes down to this for me. I think Frunza has better straight punches, but I think Radtke has better hooks. I kind of think Radtke is the faster boxer in terms of hand speed. And I think he's going to be able to land on Frunza in combination moving forward. My main worry is that Frunza will just drag Radtke into a war and force these car crash exchanges where he shines and is more durable for me. So, look, neither guy's defense is great. I think Radtke has more to give defensively for sure. Not saying much, but I also think Radtke is like an easier fight for Frunza, like versus a McKee, purely off size, length. Doesn't have a great jab compared to McKee, who's long, massive, and has a good jab. Keeps you on the outside. Again, I'm playing violence here. Under 2.5, minus 105. I really like the look of that. I think it covers both sides. I think Radtke, I don't trust his chin as much as I trust Frunza's, but I also think he gets hit less than Frunza. I think they both hit hard. I think they're both going to have opportunities to win and to finish this fight. And I think one of them does. So under 2.5, violence, minus 105. Love that play. I think, gun to my head, I would say Radtke maybe finishes him, but it's not a confident pick. And I think both guys are going to have opportunities. So maybe that's a good time to take the dog. But for me, I'd rather just play violence.
Yeah, nice. This one's definitely not going the distance, and it might be quick. Both guys are proven fight finishers who have proven to be there to be finished as well. Like Radtke has won by stoppage in 7 of 10 wins, 5 knockouts, 2 subs, and has been knocked out in 3 of his 5 losses. Frunza has won by stoppage in 8 of 9 wins, all by KOs, and has been finished in all 3 losses as well. Like he got knocked out once. That was a doctor stoppage against McKee, and then sub twice. I think we get very similar game plans here. They both like to be on the front foot, feinting into range, backing opponents up to the fence, and unloading something big to get them out of there. This might come down to who lands first, really. Like Radtke loves to set up his big left hook, and Frunza likes to set up his 1-2 down the middle. Frunza is a little bit taller, a bit longer, and I feel has a better management of range. And since Radtke covers up a lot and reacts big to feints, I can see Frunza touching his way in, dropping his hands to bait a left hook from Radtke and landing first with his right hand over the top. Frunza also has more weapons. He has sneaky kicks and quick combos in the pocket, and Radtke is there to be hit, but at the same time, Frunza is there to be hit as well, as he is flat-footed, doesn't always bring his hands up. Like we saw him exchange with McKee in the pocket and get dropped by a left hook as he's punching. Pretty much the exact way I could imagine Radtke finishing the fight too. Both throwing at the same time, that left hook landing. Frunza also throws naked kicks to the legs and body, and he isn't quick with his reactions, so maybe Radtke can time a big power punch as Frunza throws one of those naked kicks. I will say if Radtke implemented a grapple heavy game plan, he could win this fight quite easily if he gets him down. Like he does have crafty subs, and Frunza can be taken down and controlled. We've seen it happen before, and he's been subbed twice. But I don't quite trust Radtke to not engage in a war. But maybe he does, as he's coming off a brutal KO loss. Maybe he just wants like the easiest path to victory. But the grappling and his experience is why I say he's like he should be capped as a favorite. But I think the line should be a little closer. I will say I've been more high on Radtke in the past, but after losing a few bets on him, I've realized maybe he's just not the guy I thought he was. And I was never really high on Frunza. I wasn't too impressed by his Contender Series performance, despite getting a finish. And I confidently took Rhys McKee as a guy who at the time was 0-4 in the UFC to win as an underdog against Frunza. But one thing I do know is that Radtke has folded, like hit to the body and unable to continue, and hit right to the chin, and he was just lights out. And we've watched Frunza get hit with bombs and never stop fighting and tough it out. Like Rhys McKee had dropped him 3 times, and it took a doctor stoppage to end the fight. Put Radtke in those same close to finish situations, I just think he gets put out and finished. So in a close fight where they're both throwing heavy leather and both are pretty poor defensively, I think I'll take the longer, lengthier, more dynamic and more durable guy in Frunza, who, if he gets dropped, I think he'll work to survive and get back to his feet and still throw while he's hurt. And I don't at all have the same confidence that Radtke can get badly hurt and weather the storm, stay composed, and get his game going again. So I did play Frunza at plus 130 for 1.25 units.
Yeah, nice. You're more confident on one side than me there. I think it's a fucking volatile fight.
Very volatile.
But like, I see what you're saying. Radtke's been hurt in nearly every fight he's been in, even on the regional scene. Like the Raheem Forrest fight. I remember watching that on regionals. He still got clipped in that fight bad, even though he finished him. But yeah, this is a sick fight. This is going to be all action. Frunza is just such a good addition to this division. Like, he's just going to have fun fights for as long as he's around. It's just his style. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited for this one. I think I might have missed this. A bit of a long one. Nascimento was specifically called to fight this weekend to take out Rafael. Estevam entered the UFC rankings without having to beat a ranked opponent or one missing weight. Bounty hunter spot. With all that being said, he could absolutely overlook Cody the way Cortes-Acosta did a month ago. Potentially, and Durden does have that dog in him, so probably going to piss him off. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, up to featherweight, we have Isaac Dulgarian 7-1 taking on Yadier del Valle, YDV for the boys.
yeah.
We have a Dulgarian strong favorite minus 240. The comeback on YDV is plus 205 to plus 210-ish in that area somewhere. Ryan, who wins this fight, my bro?
I think Dulgarian will take it. Like, this is a very fun matchup. Dulgarian is 2-1 in UFC. Can be argued that he should be 3-0 in the promotion, but my C-Rod by decision ticket has something to say about that. But this guy, he's as relentless of a grappler as it gets. He's nonstop with his grappling pressure, insanely strong with his takedowns. If he clamps his hands around you, he'll just lift you up and slam you in your ass. And once he got you to the mats, he has great jiu-jitsu, and he is really good at pouring on his ground and pound. Like, he's pretty much finished most of his fights through ground and pound. Typically in the first round as well. His opponent, Del Valle, very raw Cuban talent who actually does much of the same things, but definitely more well-versed in his striking department, as he's got huge power, solid Muay Thai. Like, he's undefeated, coming off a successful UFC debut, getting a round 1 sub over Connor Matthews, where he just threw him to the ground like he was a toy and manhandled him. Also has a win over Michael Aswell in the regionals, which is aging pretty nicely. But yeah, he too brings similar grappling prowess at times. Like, he is fast with his takedowns, insane strength and top pressure. If he gets a hold of you, he'll just muscle his way to the ground, even if it means slamming you in your ass, and will advance position to find that finish. In fact, if you look at a lot of the finishing sequences to both of their fights, they do look very similar. They get to the mount, land some vicious elbows, and force their opponents to choose how they go out, like either get choked or keep eating elbows until the ref stops it. I do think Dulgarian is just way craftier and dominant, definitely has better jiu-jitsu and would get the better of scrambles. Like, there'd be more chance Del Valle would take Dulgarian down and end up getting reversed than the other way around, I think. I just think Dulgarian would be able to stay on top once he gets there. I also don't like how Del Valle jumps for the guillotine. Like, it works against other guys, but I just think it'll put him in danger here against Dulgarian. But I do give, like, the strength and physicality edge to Dulgarian. I will give Del Valle the striking and cardio. Like, Del Valle has gone deep into fights and has put a stamp on later rounds, while Dulgarian is a semi round 1 or bust kind of fighter. I say semi because he doesn't quite gas out in round 2s, but he definitely loses a bit of steam. I think this fight has 29-28 written all over it. I'd say Dulgarian wins round 1 at a 90% clip. Very likely to lose round 3 if it gets there. So pretty much comes down to that round 2. And I just don't think Del Valle will have that Christian Rodriguez level of work rate to gas Dulgarian out to the point where he's absolutely fucked in the second round. So I think Dulgarian wins this fight. I think he can take round 1 and 2 through just constant activity and pouring a bit more damage and top control. So I actually don't mind him at like anywhere between like minus 200 to minus 250 as well. So yeah, I'll take Dulgarian in this fight.
Yeah, lovely. I enjoyed breaking this one down, to be honest with you. It's always fun watching tape. I like Dulgarian, to be honest with you. I think when you fight Dulgarian, it's not if you'll be taken down, it's sort of when. And you got to really respect the guy who knows. This is what I get so annoyed about with these really high-level jiu-jitsu guys is they know where their path to victory is, but they just can't get the fight there. Whereas Dulgarian, he's going to come out and he's going to be wrapped around your legs within 5 seconds of that bell going for that round, which I love. And you have to love as a bettor. He's got great time double legs. He's very fast and explosive, both to and through the hip, which I love. Look, we've seen that high-pressure style he has can worry him late if you constantly make him work hard, but also it's his best way of winning. So, by just smashing these guys with pace and passing ability on the mat, And C-Rod is a bit of an anomaly in that he also thrives in that sort of high intensity fight style. So look, C-Rod has a pretty decent front headlock series game, and the way Dulgarian defended his attempts pretty well, I think that's a decent sign, in my opinion, especially against a guy in YDV who looks pretty happy to jump guillotine at times. But in saying that, YDV is the much better striker here. That's not hard, to be honest with you, as the only time we've seen Dulgarian strike was when he was completely cooked versus C-Rod, and it was real bad. It was really, really bad. And I think YDV definitely could have success with his kicking game here. And if this was a striking fight, no doubt in my mind that he would butcher Dulgarian. But Dulgarian just doesn't give you a chance to compete there. YDV does have great knees in the clinch too, which I like. If he could potentially, get those arms up and sort of work whizzes, get the clinch, hit knees, maybe he's going to have success. But I kind of think he's going to jump guillotine even if he gets a chance there, which I think would be a massive mistake here and just give Dulgarian opportunity to flex his ground game. I weirdly like YDV inside the distance here at a big price. I feel like he could have really big upside off pure power alone. Like the power differential on the feet here is insane. And YDV does have good shots up the middle. So I like YDV ITD. I think that's, if you're going to play him, that's how you have to play him. But I agree with you that Dulgarian feels like the side of the fact that he knows where his bread is buttered. He's going to get this fight to the ground, and he's appeared safe enough on the ground so far. So I think, like, picks-wise, Dulgarian, I think, is going to win. But YDV ITD, what are they giving me for that? And it just sounds good, doesn't it? YDV ITD. Del Valle inside the distance, plus 375. It's not a bad, I probably wanted a touch bigger, but it's not a bad look. We'll see if I get to it come fight night. But yeah, it's going to be a fun fight as well. I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah, love it, mate.
Alrighty, up the card to welterweight. We got Jeremiah Wells, 12-4-1, taking on Themba Gorimbo, 14-5, Zimbabwe's finest. Prices, we have Jeremiah will Themba Gorimbo minus 120 to 130 range, slight favorite. Jeremiah Wells plus 100 to plus 110. This is an ugly fight, to be honest. I think this is a pretty ugly fight. Like, you got two very awkward, uncomfortable strikers. You got Jeremiah Wells, who really is just awkward as they come. Throws it. He's built like a silverback gorilla. No, don't take that racially. He is legit built like a silverback gorilla. Like, he is fucking massive. His back is enormous, which is like all these guys that come out of Renzo Gracie Philly. They all have these fucking enormous gorilla backs. I don't know what they must legit just do back day there. It's fucking it's pretty impressive. But he's so awkward on the feet. Like, he just throws these big looping overhands. I think it's fair to say Gorimbo is the better striker. And as long as this fight stays on the feet, Gorimbo is probably going to be the one having success. But again, even when I think about Gorimbo striking, he's pretty awkward too, to be honest with you. Like, he's not particularly fast or powerful or technical, but he kind of just has success. He's going to be longer and probably be dictating the range in this fight. My worry for him, obviously, is I just don't trust his submission defense at this point. He's been worried multiple times throughout his career, obviously coming off that Luke Das series. And Jeremiah Wells is a good grappler, man. He is a good grappler on the mat. He can threaten from a lot of different positions. He's very, physically gifted. He's also getting older. So, like, I thought coming into this one that I wanted to be on the Jeremiah Wells side. And I think that he maybe could potentially still win through submission. But I think I'm going to go with Gorimbo here, to be honest. I think his offensive wrestling, his ability to probably have success striking and dictate the fight striking here probably will lead him to victory. But it's not a super confident read for mine. Like, I've never really trusted or rated Gorimbo, so I'm not rushing to the window to get involved in him. Although minus 120 as a favorite does feel an okay price to play if you want to do that. But yeah, I think I'm going to pass this one. I'm not hugely confident on either guy, and it feels like a pretty awkward, volatile style of fight, to be honest.
Yeah, completely agree. Like, I don't have a detailed breakdown, but if this fight goes to decision, it's probably going to be Themba Gorimbo getting the win and outpointing his way to victory. Like, he's the younger guy. He's more well-rounded. He's typically he typically comes in with a good game plan, has the cardio to work for 15 minutes, but a few red flags. Like, he is an emotional head case, and he's shat the bed before in high pressure moments. And going into this fight, he's had a lot going on. I don't know if you've seen that interview about his family celebrating him, like losing. He's deleted his Instagram. I think he's like had drama with MMA Masters. I think he's training at Vegas now, and he has his phone wallpaper as Luke choking him out. So,
does he still live in the Rock's house?
That I don't know. I was trying to look for his Instagram like just earlier, and like there was no sign of it.
Yeah.
I think he wins, but I also think he can get chinned. Like, he's the type to thing with Gorimbo is he's the type to overtrain, stress the closer it gets to fight night, and be hyper focused in there, and then just have a defensive lapse that just costs him the fight. Jeremiah Wells, he has spent a lot of time off due to injuries. He's nearing 39. He's a fighter that lacks in technicality, but I think he could knock out a horse if he lands. And I would just not be surprised if this fight plays out with Wells getting touched up from distance and getting held against the fence, looking like absolute shit, and then landing a knockout out of nowhere, or dropping Gorimbo the same way like Luke did and muscling his way to a choke. So I just did a little play on Jeremiah Wells by knockout at plus 550 just for like a half unit. I think it's like I don't really trust Gorimbo as a favorite, though. Minus 120 is fine. Like I think he opened up as a bigger favorite as well, so that would have been the time to hop on Jeremiah Wells. But yeah, I'm just taking a stab at Jeremiah Wells KO. I can see it happen. I can see him looking like absolute like trash, and then like swinging like a right hook like in the second round and just landing on Gorimbo and putting him out.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, to be honest. It feels like there's a lot of different outcomes in this fight, and at the prices, yeah, it's not overly enticing on either side, I don't think. All right, co-main event time. Interested to see Ryan's take on this one here. Heavyweight, we have Waldo Cortes-Acosta, 14-2. Ryan's boy, the fat Dominican baseballer, is back, taking on Ante Delija, 26-6. Prices, another close one. Ante Delija, slight favorite, moving a little bit. It looks like he opened massive favorite, and then came back to dog for quite a while. Yeah. And now he's back to favorite. So that would tell you that there is a bit of interest on both sides here. But now Delija minus 135. The comeback on Waldo is plus 115. So, yeah, up and down all week. Ryan, Waldo, talk to me.
Look, it's absolutely no secret. I'm a big Waldo guy. Like, won many bets taking him through his entire UFC run. I didn't bet on him in his last fight against Sergey Pavlovich. Like, going into it, I could just see him making it close, but also I could also see him not doing enough, and both were the case. But I did bet on that fight to start round 3 at plus 100, and the fight goes the distance at plus 165 for big stakes. In that way, I could cheer Waldo without needing him to win, and both cash pretty easily. Look, what I love about Waldo is that he keeps it simple with his boxing. Like, other than when he fought Rebelis de Spain, who had zero ground game, he doesn't stray from his boxing. And when he's on and feeling himself, he's very slick with his combos and footwork. And I think he works at his best when he can lure opponents into his like slow pace of pot shotting, like in the pocket. And another thing I love about him is the same reason why I love guys like Daniel Rodriguez, and I've been pretty favorable in betting him as well, is that they are limited fighters and are easy to read. And while I've never faded Waldo before, it pains me to say it, but I'm riding with Ante Delija here. I got on his line last week at dog odds. I got him at plus 120, and it's since corrected itself now. So I'm stoked to beat some CLV, but I've been cursed with CLV as well. So hopefully that's not the case here. But to put it simply, like, Waldo can be outgunned, and when he is, his boxing is just not enough. I saw it going into the Pavlovich fight. Pavlovich had more weapons, more athleticism, and more hand speed, and he was able to just get ahead of the scorecards by just being busier and landing the crisper shots. Even though Waldo stayed busy, he wasn't landing as effectively. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, he outgunned Waldo with his aggression and explosive varied attacks, and absolutely murdered his leg kicks. One thing I'll give Waldo props, like always, is for fighting through that. Like, his legs were absolute toast, and he still made it to the final bell. And even against Sergey Spivak, who actually had been nervous at my Waldo by decision ticket, he had his moments when he was on the front foot, and Waldo just edged it out by being busy with his pitter-patter jabs and combos when Spivak had stepped off the gas. Ante Delija, he brings to the table aggression, hand speed. He does have one-shot power and varied attacks. Like, he typically pressures forward, does very well in cutting off the cage, always ready to counter over the top or defend, and has pretty sharp boxing of his own. Like, where Waldo is kind of single shot orientated and typically just throws 2 to 3 punch combos off the back of jabs as he's already in the pocket. I think Delija does a good job stalking forward and always throwing punches and bunches. Like, once he sees an opening, he'll blitz in with that 7 to 8 strike combo, and his combos ain't sloppy as well. Like, he mixes in hooks, straight shots, and uppercuts to different targets, always balanced, and is so good at sneaking that big shot right through the guard or right around the guard as opponents are covering up. And Waldo, he typically leans back and relies on his head movement and footwork as his first line of defense, which I think that's going to put him in danger here. I do see him I see him avoiding the first 2 to 3 punches of a combination as he's leaning back, trying to angle off, and then just getting caught with the 4th or 5th punch consistently. And I think Waldo's tendency to be on the back foot will work in Delija's favor big time, as it'll be easier to back him up against the fence where he can either cover up until Delija's finished unloading, or he can punch his way out where Delija will be simply faster and will probably beat him to the punch or just be able to get out of the way of those of Waldo's slow and labored strikes. So I will say Waldo is good at fighting at a nice steady pace for 3 rounds and luring people there, and that's where he can consistently work, while I think Delija is most dangerous in round 1, and after that sort of drops off a bit, but I don't believe Delija drops off to the point where he gets outworked by Waldo, who's just much slower and much more labored in his movements compared to Delija. So yeah, I think Delija backs him up, lands his heavy combos against the fence, gets back out of range, avoids getting hit with anything too significant, rinse and repeat, and just racks up enough big moments to put a stamp on each round. So it does pain me to go against Waldo, but I'm going to take Ante Delija at plus 120.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I just think striking wise, I think it's a pretty competitive match. I don't think Delija is like outgunned necessarily at all. I don't think. Look, Waldo doesn't have the hugest power for heavyweight division, and he is, he's a decent striker, but I think he's like plotting sort of, he's a baseballer. This guy's a Dominican baseballer. He walks up to the I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
That's how much baseball I know. The home plate. He walks up to the home plate and he sets his feet there, and I think that's what he's going to do in the octagon. And I think Delija's I think his grappling could just be the difference here, to be honest with you. I think if you got Delija at plus anything, it's probably the side in this fight. Anything that you could have got on him for plus money is a great bet, in my opinion. I think he's probably going to have a decent amount of success getting to the hips of Waldo, taking him down on the mat. It's not particularly competitive. I think Waldo, if he gets on his back, he's probably going to spend a fair bit of time there. And he's going to have to rely on bigger moments. I'm just not necessarily convinced that he will. I do agree that, like, if it goes late to 15 minutes, I think Waldo will probably be the one coming home with a wet sail. But I give Delija pretty big upside in round 1. So, yeah, I'm on the same side as you. I think Delija probably wins this one, keeps cruising up the division, and probably gets himself a pretty decent fight next. Obviously, also he's training in a good training camp, in a better training camp than Waldo. Maybe that's enough to be the difference here.
Yeah, he's training with not only Aspinall, but that other bloke as well, Mick Parkin.
Yeah, they're all in a good room. It's a good heavyweight training room, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. Delija seems aside.
Yeah, which pains me. I love my Waldo.
Your boy. Yeah, there's a few of your boys on this card. Another one here.
Yeah.
Would you say Steve Garcia is your boy?
Yeah, well, he was my biggest bet of the year.
There you go. Steve Garcia, your boy. All right, let's do this. Featherweight main event time. We have Mean Machine Steve Garcia, 18-5, taking on David Onama, 14-2. Prices we have, again, this is a pretty closely lined fight. Steve Garcia, minus 130. David Onama, plus 110. I'd say David Onama is probably one of my boys. Maybe, like, I've bet on him a fair few times in his career in the UFC. I got him against Garrett Armfield. I remember that. Mm-hmm. I had him against Benitez. I didn't have him against Jones, but I did take him. I took Nate Lamweir at like big dog odds to beat him. I think it was like plus 300, somewhere around there.
Nice.
I remember exactly where I was at the time. It was one of those bets. I took him to knock out Gabriel Santos. I don't remember if I took him against JSP. I potentially may have, but I think that's the last time I've bet on him. So, I mean, 5 out of 7 or 8 fights in the UFC, he must be one of my boys. And I like him, man. Like, he's physical, he's athletic, he's pretty technical in terms of his striking. He's got good power. My main worry is that, and to be honest, both of these guys fight pretty similarly on the feet. So it's like kind of a hard one to break down because both things that these guys do well, they both do. So it's pretty tricky to break this one down, in my opinion, because it's two relatively decently similar style matchups. Onama probably the better pure kickboxer, I would say. I think Steve Garcia probably the better boxer, fair to say, on both fronts. And look, both guys are very hittable. They've both been hurt and Onama not been finished, I don't think, in the UFC. No, just decisions. But Steve Garcia lost a couple of times by finish, not recently, obviously, but has got hurt quite a bit. Like, I can never get that Mahashate loss out of my head. As much as I wish I could just get that Men in Black treatment where I just forget about it, but I can't. Him running in, just getting countered down the middle, such a bad look. He got hurt by Norton Beckay too, if I remember correctly, in that first round. He got hurt, then obviously came back to win that fight. And from then, he's just been on a huge run. I think, like, I want to question his wins a little bit, which doesn't seem fair, but like some will enjoy. I put nothing into that. I put zero stock into that. The Kyle Nelson one, maybe that one's aging pretty well because he is doing fairly well. But Calvin Kattar one, again, is it like it might be a bit tough? But I guess you could say the same thing about Onama too. Like, gets Giga, gets Romero, gets JSP. All, like, I think JSP's not even in the UFC anymore somehow, which hurts. But the Gabriel Santos win, I think, is aging pretty well. I don't know. I think this is a competitive match. This is going to be fireworks for as long as it goes. I think for me, this one is hard to get to a side because I genuinely think both guys can win. Like, I think they both can hurt each other. I think they both can finish each other. I think they both can win a decision. I think they both have multiple paths to victory. I guess you just have to go out on a limb and who you think is the better more. I think Steve has probably faster hands, but I kind of think that Onama might get him here in this one. Like, I've been pretty impressed with his progression, and yes, he's hittable, but it's really hard for me to go out on a limb and put myself out there and say that I genuinely think there's going to be a winner here because I don't know who it's going to be. So I came into this fight really like wanting to pick a side and have a real firm conviction, but I honestly don't. I think it's an even fight, which to me says that maybe Onama plus 110 is the side, but it's not a confident pick at all. I really think Onama could add up with the leg kicks and things and probably the kicking game. And I think Garcia is probably going to be the more effective boxer. It really comes down to who's going to land first. And it's hard to pick. It's really hard to pick. Do you have more conviction on this one?
I did come down to a side, but like, again, I'm not as confident. There's only so much you can break down in a matchup like this, right? Like,
yeah,
both are in the prime of their careers on winning streaks. They have fight-ending power in their hands. Both willing to engage in that firefight and put themselves in harm's way. It could literally be done like at any moment of the fight. Onama, he's never been finished in his career, but he does get hit a lot. And he has gotten hurt a lot. Like, he got hurt against Landwehr. Giga Chikadze hurt him as well. And Roberto Romero, like, he damn nearly knocked him out. Knocked him down, badly hurt him, but he fought through it and won rounds 2 and 3 handily. But while he's making big improvements, his abilities can still be a bit raw. Like, defensively, I think he is exploitable, but he does get away with it because of his durability, his power and finishing instincts. But for Steve Garcia, he's a guy that we've seen knocked out before in the UFC to Mahashate and been knocked down multiple times to Charlie Ontiveros twice. Mahashate knocked him down twice. Nurten Burke knocked him down. So
2 awful names.
Those are horrible names to be knocked down against. Yeah. But so his chin will still get you a little nervous. But I think in terms of skill set, Garcia is just the more put together fighter. Like he was running through guys in the last 6 fights, but I think his last showing going 15 minutes with Calvin Kattar, though a very washed Calvin Kattar, was a good look. He outlanded him 85-26 in a shutout. Like I had my biggest bet of the year on Steve Garcia at -145. I put like 6 units on him.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw here that Garcia was more than just a fight finisher. He can be technically sound and defensively responsible. And honestly, I think the winner of this fight will be the more defensively responsible and tactical guy. And that's why I got to go with Steve Garcia. Like Onama, he's more athletic, more powerful, faster, and more explosive than Garcia, which is those are scary things to have against him. And on top of that, he has insane durability and a very good gas tank on his side. And like I said earlier, he's improving at a rapid rate. Like it wasn't long ago we saw Mason Jones take him down like 8 times and control him for 10 minutes. And Landwehr outdog him in a 3-round war. And I do think today he'd make those fights way less competitive. But I just feel like Garcia will be the one coming in here with a smart game plan. He does he does train Jackson Wink as well. Like he has the more honed in MMA skill set. He has his own one-shot knockout power to match Onama's, and I feel like he has better process in setting up and finding his shots. Like Onama does have pretty good timing with his takedowns though, but Garcia does have a good, solid takedown defense. That could be an angle for Onama to make this fight easier on him. But if this fight plays out with both being tentative and picking their spots, I trust Garcia more. Like Onama sort of comes forward with no setup at times. Like while Garcia at least has more awareness of distance and range. And if this becomes an all-out war in the pocket, like Onama thrives there as he is very good at fighting off instincts and just being a Terminator. But I think Onama can be lured into a dick swinging contest. And I think Garcia will still be will just be more defensively minded, like bringing his hands up, taking shots on his guard, taking a step back, and then coming back in over the top while Onama is just like seeing red and just throwing hands. And if Garcia drops him and follows him to the ground, Onama has shown good scrambling abilities, but Garcia knows how to ground and pound to force a stoppage. Like the moment he's on top, he has a way of advancing and securing dominant positions and just throwing like non-stop vicious elbows that just to the head the entire time without stopping. So yeah, it's one of those. It's a pick your poison kind of fight. I do lean towards Steve Garcia. I played him at -120. I believe he's now like what -135 or
yeah, a little bit wider,
140. So I don't really find value in him anymore at -140 or above. I think -120 was the line to get him. If anything, if you're playing Onama at plus money, that's a very good bet. So very volatile matchup. This is as volatile as it gets, and you know what? It could be finished in the first minute, or it could just go like 25 minutes as well. So I can't wait for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking shit about this card. This is a fucking great main event. Like, you say what you want. Yeah, name value is not great on Garcia or Onama, but like this is going to be an awesome fight.
Oh, absolutely! Like I reckon this card like is just so much better than a lot of like the fight nights that we just had.
100%. I've seen like pay-per-view prelims fucking for the last couple of months have been awful. Been absolutely awful. So I don't know why people are getting such a stink about this one.
Yeah.
Who do you think has upside, say, if this doesn't finish in the first, I
don't know, if this goes late?
12 minutes, maybe?
Maybe Onama.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because, like, Steve Garcia obviously went the distance with Kattar. That was only 3 rounds. But, like, I don't know. Onama's done it too, but he kind of, I think visually he looks worse generally, but he's one of those fighters that looks like he's gassed and somehow, like, continues to keep going.
Yeah, he's a Terminator.
Yeah, legit. It must just be the added bone density and strength. But I think I favor Onama if it goes late as well. I think
it could really, like, we haven't seen enough of like these two guys in an extended fight. Like we just know that they can fight hard, they can finish, and yeah, it's so tough. Like I was trying to break this down the other day and just found it hard to pick a side. Like I did end up in the Garcia side, and like I just noticed that on a certain bookie that they just hadn't adjusted it when the others did. So
yeah,
I do lean towards Steve Garcia, like in general, like in terms of like ceiling, like in the UFC. But Tough fight, man. Coin toss nearly.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a sick fight, though. All right, that wraps up the breakdowns. Let's now go quickly, bottom to top, final picks. You can say any bets that you have if you want, and then we will get out of here. All right. So, Toledo, Alencar, Ariane, Carnelosi.
Oh, did we pick a side for this?
No, I think we both said dog or pass, but pass.
Yeah. Dog at pass. Just pass.
Yeah, massive pass.
Advise anyone on this.
Gun to my head with a bet, I'd probably rather be on the Carnelosi side, but yeah, pass. Phil Rowe, Sekyun Ko.
Sekyun Ko.
Yep, Ko for me too, probably by decision, I would think. Alice Ardeline, Montserrat Ruiz.
Alice Ardeline sprinkled on the rounds 2 and round 3 props.
Yeah, I like Ardeline by TKO plus 650, 675.
Violence.
Yeah, violence is good. Ketlin Vieira, Big Norm.
Big Norm.
Yeah, probably Big Norm by decision. Donte Johnson, Sedriques Damas.
Donte Johnson.
Yep, times 2. Timmy Cuamba, Chang Ho Lee.
Timmy Cuamba.
Yeah, I'd probably go Cuamba, but I really like the under 2.5 plus 175. Great number. Billy Elekana, Kevin Christian.
Probably Elekana.
Fuck it. Let's just go the dog. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Allan Nascimento, Cody Durden.
Give me Naz.
Yeah, Nashi for me too. Charles Radtke, Daniel Frunza.
Daniel Frunza.
Oh, it's a tough one. Again, violence. Violence is good.
Violence
is the play. Don't pick a side here. It's a tough one. Dulgarian and Yadier Del Valle.
The Midwest Chopper.
Yeah, I like the Midwest Chopper, but I don't mind if you're going to play YDV, just do it ITD for mine. Jeremiah Wells, Themba Gorimbo.
Gun to my head, Themba Gorimbo, but man, like I could see Jeremiah Wells just getting a meme KO.
Yeah, I think I ended up on the Gorimbo side, but yeah, it's not a confident one. Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, and Ante Delija.
Ante Delija. Sorry, King.
Yeah, someone click that. Ante Delija times 2. And main event, Steve Garcia, David Onama.
Steve Garcia.
I think I'll pick Onama, but yeah, very low confidence. All right, that is UFC Fight Night. Back at the Apex, Steve Garcia, David Onama. Fuck the haters who are talking shit about this card. This is going to be a fun one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your mates. Follow Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times 1, I think it is.
Yep.
With a Z, Desperate Times Z1. Puts all his picks and bets out there. Also, it's into his film and movie. So if you're into that shit, give him a follow. It's a good follow. If you want to follow me at Provide Picks or at Dribble Sport, either one of those are good. Anything you want to sign off with?
Nah, like I reckon this fight card is gonna prove people wrong.
I completely agree. I'm pretty excited for this one, and I definitely think that it'll be fun. And I'm pretty keen to watch this one. I'm gonna start doing some more watch-alongs and stuff soon. I don't know if that interests you. Or I don't know what your schedule's like on Sundays. Are you generally working or?
I'm working every second Sunday, but I don't think I'm pleasant to watch along with.
We've watched some before together when we were in the same state and stuff like that. Like, do you remember the Kaikara France in Royval? Remember that one?
Oh, mate, I'll never forget that one.
That was hilarious. That was a great memory.
Yeah, but last time we were watching fights together was at Doug's place in Melbourne.
Yuri.
I was just wanting to die the entire time because every bet was losing.
It's so funny. Next week we have, I think it's next week, not a week off, or it might be a week off.
Nah, next week we got what's his name?
Is it the Bonfim one?
Bonfim, yep.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a week off or not, but yeah, we got Bonfim versus Randy Brown, another one of these low name value cards, but again, looks like a lot of fun fights on there. So
a lot of fun fights.
Yeah, I'm again, it's going to be a good one. Like, don't listen, and we were messaging about this. Like, generally, when you get these cards with lower name value, less proven guys, you get some more volatile pricing. So generally, it can be more profitable. Yeah, you can get fucked more, but if you do your research, there's definitely more opportunity than a pay-per-view card.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm keen for that one. We'll be back next week, as always, roughly the same time. Thanks for watching. and we'll see you next week.